episodes of the Long Box with 3 men in the basement.
Jeez.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to your happy new comic book day to everybody. I am chilling here with my brethren. As you see, today I am TiVo the Terminated. Your boy got his YouTube account suspended or terminated. I don't know which one it is, but I don't have access to any of my content. Everything got deleted. From what I can tell, I found a Reddit page where about 4 days ago, YouTube started doing mass terminations. Basically, I think people are just thinking it's an algorithm that's gone rogue, and hopefully it's suspended and it'll be back. But we'll see, man. Shout out to Darkseid Jedi. Give Darkseid Jedi the wrench, man. What's up with that? Why don't you give him the wrench? Shout out to everybody in the live chat. So thank you for coming over to 3 Men in the Basement. This is our sister channel or brother channel, however you want to think about it. Shout out to Chad Crow in the live chat. Been waiting 25 minutes. Appreciate it, brother. Alex Perez in the house. Appreciate you coming on and swinging by here. Make sure you guys sub up 3 Men in the Basement. Johnny Boy in the house. Chad Crow, Dave in the cave, free the lords, indeed. Johnny Dakota in the house, Carter Lee in the house, Tyler Rolnick, Johnny Dakota, as I said, Gorilla Grotto 5. So yeah, man, we are going to continue to do the Lord's good work, as they say. Shout out to 3 Men in the Basement's got a sponsor today. KRSComics.com. Go to KRSComics.com. Use the discount code of LOTLB to get 10% off anything in the KRS Comics exclusives. Also, the show is sponsored by the GeekySwagShop.com. Go to GeekySwagShop.com. Use the discount code of LOTLB to get 15% off anything in the Geeky Swag Shop, including all the shirts you see these fine, handsome gentlemen wearing in front of you. And as I said, thank you for hosting the Lord of the Long Box Black Knight Report. I got my man Otto from the Grotto. Say hello to your channel.
What is up, Autobots? Here we are, the 3 Men in the Basement. We got the Lords here. You know, we're like Hydra. You cut off one head and another head appears. You can't stop the Lords, and here come the 3 Men. That's what we're all about.
Here come the Lords.
Here come the Lords, just like it said. Anyway, we're going to get it. We're going to get this content out to you guys. And, you know, I want to give a shout out to Errol. He hit me up on Facebook, and he said, man, are you guys going live tonight? I said, yeah. He goes, man, I've been waiting all week for this. Errol, thank you very much for that, because, man, we've been planning this for a couple of days now.
It was such a bummer. You know what? Let me bring in my boy Nemesis Prime first. Justin in the new digs there. He's got the new crib. He's got the new mic. Say what's up.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, I definitely put in the highest bid. I know those NY Warriors, those Comic Core guys, they wanted to do this channel, but you know what? I had the highest bid for the night. That's how we get it right here on the 3 Men in the Basement.
Super chat for $25 is all you need to get me on your show. So I can't even do it. You know, I can't even log in as myself. Look, man, I am this is me today, guys. Yo, what's going on? Don't follow that channel yet, by the way. If my channel doesn't come back, I'll be posting on that channel. But while we're on hiatus, we're going to be posting it right here on the 3 Men in the Basement channel. Shout out to Marty from Comic Book Fanatics. Marty, I just got terminated, so I will be known from now on as TiVo the Terminated. Otto the Disgraceful and Prime the Punished is what his name is. Darkseid Jedi ever comes on, it'll be Darkseid the Disgraced. Say, so we got a lot of news today, and I was just talking to our man, the Black Knight, and I was like, "Yo, my channel's got." He goes, "What happened?" I said, "And I think it's an algorithm thing. It'll come back." He goes, "Man, that's messed up because this is a huge report today." We came on, and I teased it already about some of the news and a lot of news for our DC fans out there. And some news that I would love to see what the live chat has to say about the Black Adam news that I'm going to be talking about later, because I think it'll divide people from what I know. I know Otto already thinks a certain way about it.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be interesting nonetheless what happens. So guys, if you're watching this, share it on whatever you can so that people know that Lords is on the 3 Men in the Basement channel. And we're going to go from there. So let me just start it off by talking about some stuff, just some news things. And then, that I got that, aren't necessarily giant news things, but Marvel Studios is talking to Janelle Monáe. Yes, Janelle Monáe. If you don't know who she was in that movie, Perfect Figures, whatever, the African-American women that were
Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures. They were basically the mathematicians that did all the calculations for the fucking first Apollo mission. She was in it. If you don't know, she's a R&B singer, actually. And that's when I really found out about her about 8 years ago. She's very James Brown-esque. Anyway, Marvel's talking to her about a role that she could be doing. Now, two things come to mind is, unfortunately you have to put them in a pigeonhole of, what African American woman can they play? Immediately it comes to mind Storm or maybe Riri Williams, but Janelle Monáe looks young, but she's actually a little bit older, so maybe she could play Storm. So I'm excited about that. We got a little bit more news on Blade as well. Remember that how do you say his name, Otto?
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah,
here we go.
There you go.
Mahershala Ali. That was amazing. You got it on the first try. All right. Well, Mahershala Ali called up Marvel and said, "I want to be Blade." And basically, they took the Blade plans they had to put him on Hulu, and they scrapped it so that they can make a big screen adaptation for it. But they also had plans for Dracula coming on Hulu. But now they're going to looking at the new ways to approach Dracula as well. So what they want to do, they want to give a fresh approach to Dracula and Blade and make him a supernatural terrorist with an army of vampires, which is actually closer to the comic book, the modern day version comic book of Dracula. You remember that storyline where all the superheroes became vampires, or was it just the X-Men? Remember? And Dracula he wasn't like, blood, I want to suck your blood. He was more like a modern day villain, right? And he had like an army of bloodsuckers, and they took the kind of goofiness out of Dracula and they made it more of a disease for them for blood. So that's interesting. So let's hope that happens. And they want to put Wesley Snipes in that movie and make him Dracula. So automatically the Blackula joke's going to start. If you kids don't know who Blackula is, Google it. It's a fucking awesome film, man. We're talking
Blackula
like
was great
exploitation at its best, man. Blackula. So let's get right to it. This is the Black Knight report at its best. First off, put the graphic up. This is coming to you, and you know what? It's so goofy. I had it hard to believe at first. We all know that Hulu is coming with a bunch of adult-themed animated shows onto the Hulu that will probably be announced at D23. We already know it was MODOK, Howard the Duck, and Hit Monkey, and some other crazy shit, right? Well, they're taking a very, very obscure but historic character and putting him in the Hulu world, his own animated series. Obnoxio the clown. Yes, the crazy ass clown is coming to Hulu, his own kind of series. So he fits right in there with that whole weird world, Marvel animated world of, Hit Monkey and freaking what's his name? Howard the Duck. Yeah. And what's curious about this is, everybody thinks Obnoxio the Clown #1 is the first appearance, but actually it's just a great spec book for collectors of weird things, man. What if number 34 has an appearance of him in a panel before the Obnoxio the Clown #1? And if you go way back, Obnoxio was basically the clown that was, if you didn't know, Marvel had a magazine that was their version of Mad Magazine and Crazy. What was the other one? Cracked, yeah. Crazy. And Obnoxio the Clown was kind of their little mascot, and his first appearance is in Crazy 63. So think about that. If you want to spec, Obnoxio the Clown, I guarantee you've seen this at a comic shop pretty much all of your life. Obnoxio, my favorite is the Marvel No Prize comic. I love that. Every time I find that book, I buy it regardless. But Obnoxio, I always thought it was Obnoxio, but apparently I've been pronouncing it incorrectly this entire time. But look for that. Next up, this is happening, and it's kind of weird how it's happening. So we're hearing that Jack Kirby's 1970s Sandman is being developed for the Netflix version of Sandman based on Neil Gaiman's show. So the Sandman that's in the comic, the Jack Kirby version, they're going to put in the Neil Gaiman version. So what's the first appearance of that, Otto, and what are we looking at?
So you want to go after, for this, you're looking at a few different things right here, but you definitely want to go after the Sandman #1. It's by Jack Kirby in the 1970s. It came out, and it was only 6 issues. So Sandman #1, first appearance, first issue. This was bi-monthly, though, which was pretty interesting, and they ran it for like 2 years. And Simon and Kirby did it, and it's just a pretty cool book. You've seen it on the covers and stuff like that, but it's a really cool book that you should go after. And you're only going after 6 issues, so not probably hard books to find.
That's a powerful duo right there, Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, man. Everybody thinks Joe Simon, they think Captain America, right? But you got Joe Simon and Jack Kirby together. So Jack Kirby actually just did the pencils on this and maybe the plots, but Joe Simon did all the scripting on it.
Yeah.
So it debuted in December of 1974, and the last issue came out in December of 1975. So only 6 issue run. So it looks like, you're right. That's like a year to the date
Right. And it was only supposed to be one issue, you guys. It was only meant to be a one-shot book. And they stuck with it. They gave it a little more issue. They came out with this issues from it.
And what are we looking at on GPA on this, Justin?
Well, as you can see, I mean, 9.4 last sold was only $84. I mean, 90-day GPA, $60. I mean, that's right now is a steal, guys. 9.6 last sold is or 90-day GPA is $89, and 9.8 for all you real big collectors out there. 90-day GPA is $223. I mean,
for
that's
9.8. Look at that.
Yeah, for a mid 70s book, 9.8. I mean,
too.
that's the way to go. That's where I would go right now. Is just go get yourself a 9.8, and if that book jumps to $1,000 in a year, 2 years, you're right. You're gold.
Return. Yeah.
If you notice this, if you've been following along here, DC is doing something. If you notice, somebody at DC, and my guess is it's Greg Berlanti, is like snatching up all the Jack Kirby properties that he did for DC, and he's trying to take full advantage, as he should, right? You know, he's got name recognition. So, and Sandman, you know, Neil Gaiman doesn't connect to this at all, but only by name. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think right now, and I can't full it, but it makes sense how they can say, hey, let's take advantage of this, and this is coming to Netflix, so you know, they can really go all out. But then again, all the DC universe stuff kind of goes all out anyway. You know, it's kind of violent, kind of out there, but that's interesting. So that's way down the road, man. But you know, these are cheap books. You probably get these for like, you know, $15-$20 raw, but like you said, go out and get a 9.8, man. And we like to give you guys what the last sold is, like, you know, whatever was the last grade sold. But then I think what I want to do going forward is giving you the prices of 9.6s and 9.8s, because when I think about it as a collector, I immediately ask what the near mint price is or something, and that way I base my purchase on that price, right? If you give me if I look up the GPA at a 9.6, then I can make a better judgment of what I can pay for a 9.4 or 9.2 and so on and so forth, you know, because I think 9.6 is, and 9.8 sometimes is, that's like perfect. So it's kind of hard, because guarantee you 9.8s are always going to be a lot higher, especially in the more popular books. But 9.8 right here on this book, that's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, you'll see some of these, shout out to Discovery Bay Comics. You'll see that some of these don't even have, you know, data on it because they're so obscure, but that's why it's a great time to get a hold of these. Shout out to Amazing Murphinator, who just joined us, The Butcher 105. Jay Salsa 23. Glad to see everybody coming over. Make sure, if you guys are in here, make sure you guys sub this channel up, damn it. You know, I may be on here a little bit longer than you think.
Longer than we think. I do want to give 2 shout outs. So my buddy Matt LaFrance, he hooked me up when we were going looking for the camera. So shout out to him. Thanks for watching. And also I want to give a big shout out to Discovery Bay Comics. He hit 1,000 subs today. Very cool for what you did. Absolutely, Discovery Bay. So JB, congratulations to you and your
Discovery
channel.
Bay, the comic geek guide of YouTube. So hopefully you won't get terminated like I did. And then as halfway through the show, I'll give another update on what happened, just in case, you know, there's not a million questions of it. But, you know, my channel got terminated. Hopefully it's just temporarily. And as I told you guys last time, step up your avatar game. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be stuck with a whack avatar as we put your names up there. Adam Beamer, looking at you. Amazing Murphinator's got a cool one. Discovery Bay Comics has a cool one. Adam Beamer, let's see it. Let's see how he's just an egg person.
Come on, Fett, put something up there, buddy.
Come on, man. You gotta work on that, man. So shout out to everybody. I did not archive all my old videos, so I would think they will have to give me access back to it, regardless of what it was. Because it's mine. That's my content. Even if the ones that are copyrighted are taken, I still should have access to mine. So if they don't, I'm gonna sue them. I don't know. We'll see. I'll tell you guys in a bit. I don't want to run into the show. If we have time toward the end of the show, I'll tell you guys what happened. It's kind of interesting. Now, another story is, and we talked about this. Was it last week, guys? I talked about SWORD.
Yep.
Which I totally forgot. Do any of you guys remember the acronym?
Oh God, no!
Right there, World Organization Response Department.
There you go. So I'm getting some more information on SWORD. So it looks like Kevin Feige is reluctant to use Peyton Reed's original treatment for the Fantastic Four, which that was a film that was going to take place in the 60s. Remember, that's when it was still going to be a Fox film. He'd rather accelerate the next overall story arc to have Reed start from scratch. The current plan is to have Reed Richards working for SWORD when the gamma ray accident happens. This would boost the SWORD TV series for Hulu and catapult the FF to the big screen. What do you think about that? What do you guys think, man? Is that that's a interesting way of bringing them into the Marvel universe, right?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, they were working just as, scientists. They shot up into the upper atmosphere. They're exposed to gamma rays. But now we know that the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going away. My guess is it maybe be calling Agents of S.W.O.R.D. That's why I found that logo. Shout out to whoever made that on the internet. Please don't copyright us for it.
But, it's kicked off for that.
But that makes sense on a way, this way, because remember, everything on Hulu and Disney Plus is part of the MCU now. So remember, it's not like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that is disconnected. Now they have it all on board. Hulu, Disney Plus, all the TV shows, all the programming, they're all literally connected. Remember, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the part of the programming used to be, it's all connected, but not really, because Feige and the guys didn't get along together. But what do you think, man? It's a good way to introduce the FF, kind of
good way to bring it in.
I don't know if they got big name actors, it'd be hard to actually maybe put them on the Hulu show, but maybe they can allude to it in one of the episodes and then boom, get an FF film.
I think they can allude to it. And, it's funny because if you look at all different movies and stuff like this, like scientists have always, you think of Star Trek and stuff like that. The scientists, especially like the Wrath of Khan, scientists have always been pawns to the military, as they always talk about. So now you've got S.W.O.R.D., you've got the scientists coming in, you've got an accident, and you've got this guy, Reed Richards. Maybe his crew goes through something. So even if they allude to it, it's just foreshadowing for us and just giving us fans just enough to have a little glimpse of hope that, it is coming. We know it's coming, but just give us a little tease, give us a little tickle right there. So come on, we want to see if it's going to happen. So I think it's a great way to do it.
No, I agree.
And immediately gives a boost to and credibility to anything on Hulu. I read a report somewhere that after the Disney announcement that Hulu gained like 3,000 new subscribers.
Oh my
God.
And
there's also a lot of new things where like my phone is I moved from Verizon to Sprint PCS because Verizon was just too expensive, but it was a much better thing. But part of my Sprint PCS was free Hulu. So I've been a Hulu customer for a good 2 years now.
I like Hulu. Yep.
But I got the free one, which is like $7. So they play commercials, which is it's not that big of a deal. But I think you can pay a little bit more and get the ad-free version. But I also heard that Disney Plus is going to be an add-on to Hulu. So like if you're a Hulu subscriber now, there'll be one. You guys ever done that with Amazon? Like Amazon has the add-ons for like Showtime, HBO, and I just added on Epics for free to watch the new Pennyworth. You know what? Hey man, Pennyworth was a great freaking pilot. I had my hesitation, my skepticisms on it, but I enjoyed Pennyworth and what it was. I know I'm going off of the script. Any of you guys watch it yet?
No, I have not.
I don't have that.
You need to peep it out. Very James Bondish.
Okay,
good.
With very loose ties to Batman. If any, you see a young Thomas Wayne who hasn't even met Martha yet. Thank God we're not going to have to deal with Martha.
No, I've been saying all my time has been going into watching The Boys, which is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, I finished that shit in like 2 days.
I know. Now here's my question: was the book like that? Is it true to the book? I mean, I know it can't get as graphic, but were the characters the same way?
The characters are similar.
Okay.
They are missing his dog.
Okay.
His dog is a major character in the comic, by the way. And I read it so long ago that I started reading the trade again.
Yeah,
I remember reading it when I first saw it. I said, this is crazy. It's just as graphic sexually. Yeah. If not, the comic is probably more graphic sexually. Like his dog likes to fuck everything and anything. He'll stick the dog on the people just to fuck them. That's what, sorry, am I allowed to curse on your channel?
No, it's a family show, but that's okay. Why not?
Well, boom, it's rated R now because people terminated is in the house. So,
but you know what? I just want to say this is what to me The Wanted should have been. This is how good The Wanted could have been until we got that movie. But that's what really got me back into books years ago was when I first read The Wanted. That was just fantastic. And obviously the same writer, Mark Miller. So just good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, Wanted, the comic book is way different than the actual movie.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back and we watch the movie, I say, you know what? If I didn't know this comic book existed, I would have enjoyed this.
Yeah.
But they went a little weird with kind of the weird weavings and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they did that. Let's go next, man. And you know what? We're going to talk about this book, but I don't want to hear anybody complaining about how a book shot up in price and you guys complaining about it. Before Hall H, you guys knew 90% of the shit was coming to fruition. You knew a Shang-Chi movie was coming, and then you complain when the price of the book went up. You knew all these different things were going to happen, and the price shot up. You should have nabbed them while you can and hold on to them. Don't sell them until the trailer comes out. That's what I would say if you want to flip them. You know what I'm saying? But we're getting a final word about a book that, I've been, talking about for a long time. I've been kind of calling him Dick Ryder. And you should know that we've been talking about Marvel's going to cosmic universe at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. Spoiler alert, Nick Fury is literally in outer space on some platform with a bunch of scrolls around. That could be a sword platform. That could be the Kree, the Skrulls getting ready to fight the Kree. So Marvel Studios is working on a Nova film, and it's building up speed. You saw how quickly they moved on the Shang-Chi movie when they said they were gonna, they wanted to fast track it. At this point, Nick Fury is going to be training Richard Rider in space to become Nova. That's right, boys and girls. We're finally going to get some dick riding on the screen. What can you tell us about Nova that we already haven't talked about ad nauseum, Otto?
Correct. Well, we Marv Wolfman and John Buscema came out in 1996. Classic cover, very cool. 25 issues. But what you might not have known that was when Wolfman did this, he intended the character to be an homage actually to Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Their way they did Spider-Man, the humble working class kid with the roots to an alter ego, and it was just a good story, and it lasted 25 issues. Ran from 76 to 79. And just a good book, and a book you could have picked up for a little bit cheaper than what you're going to be paid for it now. So, don't say like Tebow said, we didn't tell you about it. I do not have one. So at Terrificon, if Barry Gary doesn't beat me to it, I'll be buying as many as I possibly can. So
I have 4 of them, and I've been accumulating for about, 5 years. I have a 90, 92, 94, and 98.
Ooh, there we go.
No, I have 90, 92, 96, 98. 90, 92, and 96 are all signed. I just need a 94 to complete the set. The 98, I am hesitant on cracking it because it's an old label. So I'd rather have a 98 unsigned. Because here it is, man. I started rethinking about the whole signing thing. I mean, back in the day, Stan Lee's signature was guaranteed a 30% bump.
Right.
Not so much nowadays. You had Chris Caremont's signature or whatever. The only time signatures are worth it now is if they're multiple signed, right? If you get 2-3 casts to sign it. But back in the days, a Stan Lee signature will get you that, our big name guy. But, Marv Wolfman, is still making the contour circuit. So you get him to sign it. John Buscema is passed away, right? Or is he still on the East Coast? I'm trying to think.
No, I don't think he does any shows. I haven't seen him around.
Yeah, I haven't seen John come around here in a long time.
So it'd be interesting on how they incorporate this. If they got some tech left over from Xandar and they're training Richard Rider to be Nova, maybe a little bit of Sam Alexander where he's trying to learn how to use it all, because we know Xandar has been blown up, right? So we know the Nova Corps exists. Now, if they do Nova Prime, that's the most badass version of Nova. That leads directly with the Annihilation Wave and everything. What kind of GPAs are we looking at this, Justin?
Well, it's actually pretty good. I want to thank Roger from 3 Men in a Basement because he just sold me a 9.4 not too recently. So I'm excited to have that before all this news.
He's going to go nuts when he hears that this is
an 8.5 because we're talking about 70s books. So an 8.5 for you under $100 buyers, it just went for $86. 90-day GPA is $128. But for you really good high-end collectors, 9.6s are going anywhere between $500 to $600, and a 9.8 just sold for $1,500.
Wow.
So, hey, again, if you're not looking for super high grade, you can definitely get them under $100. But maybe get them raw, get them pressed, come back high 9s.
And that has gone up. 9.8s used to be $500-$600, like back in the day. Back in the day, I mean, any Bronze Age first appearance 9.8 was good $500-$600. If there was any, I remember this is like the Moon Knight book, man. People have been like, as soon as they find out the Nova Corps was coming in a Marvel cinematic universe, they're like, Nova's coming eventually. And then there was word that James Gunn was going to use him in one of them films. So now we know why everything got pushed back, because Feige had a plan for Phase 5, which is going to be cosmic. Hold on, I may be getting a message from the Black Knight as we speak.
While you're doing that,
John Buscema died a few years ago. Thank you.
Okay, Black Knight. Right. While you're doing that, this is another book that we love because it's a first issue, first appearance. So that's another something that we should be looking at too when we go through this.
Yeah, so get those, man. And I don't want to hear anybody complain about it when the book blows up and it's still out there. It's not a huge print run, but it's got that kind of print run for Bronze Age books. Any Bronze Age Marvel first appearance, snatch them up. I always say that DC Silver Age was prime for first appearances. Marvel Bronze Age, they really came out with a lot of stuff. You think about Luke Cage and Iron Fist, Shang-Chi, Nova, it just goes on and on. Just snatch up any Bronze Age key that you can. If it's a first page, just grab it. Eventually, it may become something. I mean, shit, there's so many different platforms for Marvel Disney to use now that really it could appear anywhere. And speaking of appearing from anywhere, let's talk about Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah, the show's still around. And we actually talked about this book, but now I'm really finally getting confirmation. I actually thought about this a while ago because they had teased Kamandi's, what is that, the Last World or the Lost World, whatever. They teased it a few seasons ago and he never appeared, but it looks now that they're discussing Kamandi, the Last Boy on Earth, is going to come to Legends of Tomorrow. So this is one of those cheap spec books that you can get because you never know about TV shows. You know, they kind of get hot, but this is a quick flip. So get it now. So when they do announce it, you can flip it. And what is Kamandi's first appearance? What do you got on this?
We got another first appearance, Kamandi #1, 1972, which is very interesting about this book is Carmen Infantino was the DC editor at the time. And Infantino knew that the Planet of the Apes comic books and the whole story arc would be so big, he tried to grab it, but he couldn't get the rights to it. So they couldn't do it. So he had told Jack Kirby about it. And Jack Kirby had never seen the Planet of the Apes at the time, but he understood the concept, and that's how he created Kamandi into this. And Kamandi is not a very expensive book right now. So he created the whole storyline, a post-apocalyptic. I can't even say it. Post-apocalyptic. Yes, that's right. World with Kamandi, with the intelligent animals, especially that all the different characters, and he created it. And it's just, it's got Kirby written all over it, so we can see two things going on here: first appearance, first issue, and another Kirby storyline that people are digging up. So they're using because obviously he's so legendary at the time. So really, really cool book. And Carmen Infantino, which I never knew was the editor for DC at the time. Very cool story arc.
Yeah, and let's get into some pricing. So last 9.4 that sold was, hey, $84. Again, guys, these are cheap books. 90-day GPA is only $60 on this #1 issue. 9.6 actually recently sold for $145. Again, 9.6 GPA, $145. And for all you 9.8 whores out there, last sold is $430. Unfortunately, it sold 2 years ago because there hasn't been a 9.8 sale in quite a while. So
really,
that's a scarce book. Yeah,
this is a book you always see. Where's my mic feeding back? Hold on. This is a book you always see on like walls, right? Like,
yes.
It's a $10, $20 book. People look at it and they just pass it on. I actually grabbed it a few times. I was like, hey, first appearance, Jack Kirby. I think now people are recognizing that, hey, look, Jack Kirby. Before that, I would think people were like, it's so on and so forth. But like we were saying, DC is seeing all these Jack Kirby's things that he did for us. And I think what's really is because of what Anna DuVernay is doing. And that kind of perfectly segues into the next story, which is she actually confirmed who's going to be in the New Gods movie. And this gives us a chance to revisit a book that was spec'd on years and years ago when they thought he was going to be in Justice League and he never appeared. Well, it looks like we're going to get a little Darkseid action. And shout out to Darkseid Jedi. But Darkseid, SEID, is coming to the New Gods films. She was asking, I think in a Twitter Q&A or one of those Reddit AMAs, or whatever the fuck they are, man, but she confirmed that Darkseid is coming as well as the Furies. But I think I want to focus more on the Darkseid book because, we were kind of, we went back and forth in our chat about this and what was the real first appearance, right? Is it Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, or is it the, what was that other book? The
New Gods 1.
Yeah, the New Gods 1. And the market has decided it's this book, right? What do you tell us about this book, Otto?
Well, you've got another Jack Kirby character. The cameo was in Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen 134. We know that. That's like your Hulk 180. And then you get the other book, which is the Forever People #1, which came out in 1971.
Forever People, that's what.
Yeah, Forever People #1. And you can see that that came out in 71. And so not quick after that. So you got from November to February that they made it happen. And, Darkseid was what Thanos was modeled after. We all know that. So if DC can do it right, I think it's a great move because Darkseid's a very powerful villain in the DC universe. So, Justin, what do we have for sales on this book?
9.4 last sold for just over $1,300 and GPA going. Yeah, GPA is 1287. I actually just upgraded this book for the third time to an 8.0. So hopefully this book does jump up. But again, high-end collectors, 9.6 just sold for $29.44. Wow. That was in February. So again, there's not many sales on that. And 9.8. $6,750 back in April 2015.
You guys should have known this was coming. I mean, people expect this. You probably should have bought it right after Justice League didn't happen. And then you should have bought it when Anna DuVernay was announced that she was going to be doing the New Gods movie. It's going to take place. I mean, he was eventually going to come. Now she has confirmed. Also, Big Barda, the Furies, all those Granny Goodness. There's some fucking goofy ass names in this whole run.
They really are. I mean,
but yeah, man, it's coming, and if you get it now, I mean, unfortunately, I think you're better off finding a raw copy at this point. I think a graded copy is, because people have been specking on this book a long time. I have the Forever People #1. I wish I could say get Forever People #1, but you'd have to get. Yeah. It's funny on the cover, and you can't see it because Otto's logo says they changed it to Superman's ex-pal Jimmy Olsen for this particular issue. So that's a big boy book right there, because you don't see many of those DC books that when you spec on it, you're like, wow, because normally we already know Flash, Batman, Superman, all those big books, but like cheap books, you can still get our first appearance of Cyborg, things of that nature. But since we're still talking about DC, let's talk about Black Adam.
Oh boy.
And this is going to be interesting. Go ahead and put up the graphic just so we can see what the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson looks as playing Black Adam. So here is what I'm hearing. So it's good news and bad news. So the Black Adam movie is finally proceeding. The Rock's got a busy schedule. I'm hearing The Rock put the brakes on it for a while because Warner Brothers New Line Cinema wasn't going to give him a bigger budget that he wanted. And we reported this to you when we said that The Rock was talking to Kevin Feige because he wasn't happy with the budget that Warner Brothers was giving him for the Black Adam movie. Well, with Endgame earning over $2 billion and becoming the #1 all-time movie, the WB executives were furiously green with envy. They were jealous. They thought this was going to be their Justice League movie. And, Justice League stopped just short of 800 million worldwide. So the compromise is this. Black Adam will start the film as a supervillain, which is The Rock's vision. However, serious shit happens because Black Adam's horrible actions, possibly the death of his lover or wife, Isis. Black Adam changes. By the end of the movie, he's a superhero, a cross between Batman and Superman in tone. Now, the long-term plan for WB is to have Black Adam form the new Justice League, replacing Superman. WB is seeing big-time dollar signs in their eyes with The Rock heading the new Justice League. The Rock would rather call it the Justice Society, but there's a tug-of-war right now as WB wants a Justice League International-type team and call it the Justice Nations. The Rock doesn't want that name, so we'll see if it sticks. So basically, you are getting a anti-hero version of Black Adam, not the villain version that we've all known, because you got to think, if they're going to make a Black Adam solo film, you can't just have him be a bad guy, right? So you got to be careful what you wish for. Now they want to make him like, the darkness of Batman and the power of Superman. So something in between. They want him to form a new superhero team. I don't know. What are your feelings about this, Justin? What do you think is Black Adam as a hero as opposed to a straight up villain?
I can't believe in this. As normally we talk in Feige we trust, in DC we don't trust on this.
No,
there's no way. I mean, I'm a big villains fan and a big DC guy. I mean, if you watch Shazam, you kind of knew that who the Wizard was talking about in the early parts of that movie, and you knew it was Black Adam. If you know his story, he was exiled. That's why he's not in the movie, and he does come back. I cannot see him as a hero. I just can't. I mean, unfortunately, that's
why I said it's going to divide fandom. I think long-term comic book fans won't see it. But like as Chuck Hensey says in the live chat, Black Adam was a hero in Jeff Johns' Justice Society of America. So that's why I'm saying the newer fans of, whatever, the animated series or what have you, won't be so. I think long-term hardcore fans of Shazam and Black Adam, if there are some, they may be a little put off by Black Adam being the Superman's replacement, essentially is what they is. But when you have an actor with the cachet and superstar appeal of The Rock, you got to take it to full advantage, right, Otto? I mean,
No.
am I wrong in saying that?
No, it's so wrong. The whole universe is so wrong when you can think that Black Adam is going to turn to be a good guy. It's just not. He's not a nice guy. He's the biggest and like one of the biggest and strongest baddies there is. I understand The Rock commands a lot of respect, everything like this. And The Rock would be perfect. Making him head of the Justice Society would make like Sinestro the leader of the Green Lantern Corps. You just can't do it. It's wrong.
And I also think to a point, part of The Rock's brand is he doesn't want to be the baddie. Right?
Correct.
I mean,
I understand that. 100%.
And what Johnny Dakota and some other folks in the live chat are saying, why does The Rock have so much say in this? Because he's box office.
Yeah, right.
And what happened with Avengers Endgame and then at Hall H set a ripple effect throughout the movie industry. DC was not there, and they were clowned for it, not only by us, but everybody else. Like, look what Marvel brought, and in retrospect, if they were to have a panel and just show Birds of Prey and some other, they would have been laughed out of Hall H. They are still competitor. They're friendly competitors, albeit they're still competitors, but you got to come with it. They made some good strides with Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Shazam was a fun film. We already know that there is no Man of Two sequel movie. They don't know what they want to do with Superman. The Rock does not look like a Superman, but he looks like a Black Adam.
Yep.
So I mean, if this happens, I'd be curious to see, and leave a comment in the video below in the comment section what you think about making Black Adam a hero. The good thing is, I would say he's not a well-known villain, so that's on the good side, right? You can kind of make him a superhero, but leader of a Justice Society team, that would be interesting. I mean, with The Rock, he's got the charisma to pull it off, and I think part of it is The Rock's like, look, man, I want a $180 film, and I don't want to be the villain. And in that, his clause also allows him to still play a character in the Marvel universe. So that's one of the things of saying, yes, he's a villain, but not a villain. So this way he has a clause in his contract where if I want to go pay Namor, I can. But The Rock could have been using leverage on both sides, right? The Rock told DC, look, I'm going to talk to Kevin Feige, and unless you guys up the budget. And sure enough, they got a director, and they said, okay, we'll meet you there. Because remember, Shazam only cost like $70 million to make. Do you think The Rock would be in a $70 million Black Adam film that would be heavy with CGI and everything? I mean, Shazam was a great movie for what it was, but it had a very small budget, and you can tell some of the CGI was a little sketchy here and there on Shazam. But The Rock is going to want the big dollars, and so he went. The meeting with Kevin Feige was well documented. His IMDb schedule is fully booked. So DC's like, look, this Black Adam movie has been in development for 3 years, I think.
Yeah,
4 years when it first came out. This is one of those books that'll be double, triple spec. I mean, I didn't even put the price sales data on it because everybody knows what it is. But I was just thinking, I think this will divide people if they come out with it. I mean, if it's a great film, we can come out and prove everybody wrong. But we know how divisive the comic book community is on things like you change one little thing. I mean, do you remember way back when Spider-Man's web shooters were organic and not mechanical? Right. People lost their damn minds in that Tobey Maguire film. And then, people were like, oh, that's fine. But man, when it first came out, and this was like early internet and people were all upset about it. Can you imagine now with social media, what people would do? Yeah. Oh man. So
what's interesting, Tim, I mean, you kind of look at like Tom Hiddleston and Loki. I mean, a lot of people, he was a villain, but I guess like as his character grew in the movies, he became more of like a fan favorite. And you kind of rooted for him. So I think you could see, I think The Rock can be a villain, but he can be liked.
Correct. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I mean, it's, Venom was the same way, Venom, the anti-hero kind of thing. You could do it if they want it, but, again, Rock's going to call the shots on it. And we'll have to see, would he be a good Black Adam? 100%, right? He would nail the part. It would be great. Do I think he would be great as Namor? Yes, 100%. I do. Do I want him to be all smiles and happy running like the Justice League or the Justice Society? Absolutely not. So, let's just see which this plays out. Black Adam is still one of my favorite villains in the DC universe, and he's a villain in my opinion right now. And I'm going to leave it at that for my comments about this.
And I think right now DC has to, because The Rock is saying, look, he's kind of put them in this is the negotiations for it. If you guys don't give me what I want, I'm going to go make a Marvel movie.
Mhm.
And then DC will really look bad if they not only lost The Rock, but then lost the Black Adam film. So they're like kind of forced to do it now, even though their model has been changed, right? They're doing these kind of solo films that have been making money for them. And
Right.
I think with the Justice League, for all intents and purposes, if you break even, then you lose money.
Mhm.
Right on a superhero film. And when they saw Endgame, they're probably like, saying, "Oh, congratulations, Kevin Feige and Marvel," but in the suits of WB were just livid, or like saying, "Why didn't our Justice League movie should have done this, but
Correct.
it didn't." And so that's why everything that happens, WB has a tendency to be reactive to something, right? Immediately,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Like Harley Quinn was popular in Suicide Squad. Let's give Harley Quinn a Birds of Prey movie. So we'll yet to see how that plays out, but go get your black mask. Beware, buyer beware of that. Here's a new spec too, man, that has been talked about for a while. It's a character that's divided comicdom for no reason at all, to be honest with you. But I'm finding out that Riri Williams is finally coming. Possibly phase 5, but more probably phase 6, simply because phase 5 is so packed right now. But Riri Williams, of course, is Ironheart. So they want to put her in. And maybe that's why I was talking about how the Janelle Monáe casting earlier, that she could play Riri Williams. So this is an interesting book because it's a modern book, but it's been hot for a minute. And there's about 2 or 3 different issues. So I went in and just posted them all. So there's first appearance of Riri Williams. There's a first appearance of her in the armor. And there's a first appearance of her of Ironheart. So, she has a great following with young girls and comic book collectors as being one of the smartest people in the MCU. And now they are talking about bringing her in phase 5 or 6. What you need to understand is that they're coming out with the Young Avengers movie and younger characters. Iron Man is obviously gone. So now they can kind of build that whole thing where let's bring her in, have her as Ironheart and be the Iron Man version. So first of all, you got this. This is the hot variant right here. This Invincible Iron Man, Woman of Power, number 7.
Yes.
It doesn't have her on the cover, but this, like I said, you can say whatever you want and force whatever first appearance of whatever or post on whatever site, but the market dictates what's what. What are the prices on some of these?
So, the first appearance, of course, the Invincible Iron Man number 7, 9.8 sold for $140. GPA is, right around that at 130. But the variant and 9.8 goes for $250, and GPA is just under that as well. Now, the number 9, like Tim said, has her in the armor. Doesn't have a name yet. Just puts her in the armor. That one, 9.8 go for $225 was the last sold. And 90-day GPA is just under that as well. But this one also does have a variant. We don't have a picture, but it was when they were doing the Age of Apocalypse months. So the cover is actually Iron Man almost looking like Apocalypse. 9.8 variant sold for $360, and GPA is just under that at $330. So these are good books. I will tell you that the 3 Men in the Basement sponsor, Blue Label Comics, has both the number 7 first appearance and the number 9 CGC 9.8 for sale on their website. So bluelabelcomics.com.
Yeah, and Marvel's been killing it with these first appearances in the modern age for the last 5 or 6 years or so. Just recently, Johnny Dakota, is this leading toward an A-Force movie? Quite possibly. Right. They could either go with A-Force or the Young Avengers. Tyler Lewis asks, what about that kid from Iron Man 3? Wasn't he supposed to be in something? He was actually at the Endgame funeral, believe it or not. Remember that? That was the little kid all grown up.
So
spoiler alert if you haven't seen Endgame yet. DVD's coming out tomorrow.
Without the internet and out transportation.
Yeah. So, that's a cool book to get. Just some recently books that have been hot are Marvel Comics Presents number 6.
Yep.
We'll talk about that in a second. I just kind of off the cuff. But Captain Marvel number 8? Yep. Number 8. First appearance of Star. You got the Agents of Atlas, first appearances of Wave, Arrow, Swordmaster, all these new characters. Arrow number 3 coming out soon. Greg Pak has already announced it that there's going to be a new Filipina character. And you saw what happened with Wave, who was the first Filipina superhero ever. in Agents of Atlas #1. That book is blowing up. That book is hot as hell. So Greg Pat already even tweeted out, "Hey, if we're all use comic book speculators."
Yeah, who does that?
He's smart though. He knows what people buy up. I mean, they're talking multiple printings, but so look out for Arrow. That's AERO. I mean, you should know if you're a comic collector. #3 is coming out, I believe, in September. It's going to feature a brand new character, and her name they haven't even said yet, but they already. So you know what's smart? Greg Pak gets ahead of this. All the comic shops are going to order a lot of them, and that's what sparks sales. What else came out today is a brand new multiple appearances of X-Men. If you haven't bought Powers of 10, yes, it's not Powers of X, by the way, it's Powers of 10. This is the actual title. Powers of X features a character whose name is Rasputin. It's basically a combination of all Colossus, Ilyana Rasputin, and Kitty Pryde's powers all in one. And it takes place in the future, and that book is hot right now too. So if you haven't got the variant, go out and get it. It's Stephanie Hahn, I believe, has a 1 in 25 variant for it. Yep. So it'll be on all those websites and kind of lists and stuff for hot top 10 books or whatever. It came out today, probably sold out at your comic shop already. Back to Marvel Comics presents #6. It was the first appearance of Rain, which was Wolverine's daughter.
Yep.
Well. Issue 7 came out today, and it's not his daughter. So be careful of that spec. But Uncle Tebow says it's still a great book because it's still a brand new character and it's a first appearance. And what on the bright side of it, it's not another Wolverine clone. It's a totally new character. So so the book, I think, will still maintain value depending on what they do with the character. Hope it'll build. So it's kind of glad that it's yet not another Wolverine clone, yet another daughter or another Daken or another thing. So came out today. Shout out to King of Golden State who told me yesterday, and I was like, shit. And I actually bought the variant off of eBay, but then I figured like she doesn't have any back history, or excuse me, she doesn't have any other appearances. So this is her first appearance of whoever she is, which is still a cool book. But get that Powers of 10 today. Get that the Captain Marvel #8 book, which is the first appearance of Star. They're just killing it with these brand new first appearances, man. So this is a way, get them, buy 2 or 3 copies, and then look at the NY Warriors on Tuesdays and when they sell them.
There you go.
Shout out to Comics Mixers playing. Powers of X is great. Yeah, I got that, and I got the other one. I'm sitting right here. Yeah, I'm holding it right here. This is the House of X, which is awesome, by the way.
Did you pick that up at the Big To Do shop?
Yeah, I didn't get in today because my YouTube channel got terminated, so I had to come home. Here's my haul from last week. I got Batman Curse of the White Knight. And look at this, dude. It took me 3 months to pick this up for my LCS. This is Detective 999. This is the John Byrne cover. Do you remember this? Yeah. Big To Do was like saying, hey, man, you ever going to pick up that John Byrne book? I totally forgot about it. Yeah. Wolverine was getting on with some bastard daughters. Wolverine, when you got good genes, people just want to take your DNA and put it everywhere. Go ahead, Adam.
So no, I just want to say we got some cross-platform going on right now. So True Dan, Tom Rudan just posted on Instagram. He's got 2 books he's showing, a Forever People 9/8 and a Jimmy Olsen 9/8. And he goes, watching 3 Men in the Basement with Nemesis Prime, Everado, and my cousin TiVo. They just started talking about this book and showing the new gods. Can't wait. He's dropped some bangers, 2 9/8. So shout out to Tom Rudan. Always dropping the heat, man.
Every
always dropping the heat.
Is in a 9/8.
It's unbelievable.
It's kind of crazy, man. Let's show. So what I've been teasing on all day was I showed a graphic and I was like, what of these movies or properties is going to be part of the Marvel Phase 5? So let's show that graphic and look at that. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 properties. And I posed a question and I found out which one of these properties is Marvel selecting to go in Phase 5 on the big screen, on Hulu, and Disney Plus. And the answer is all of them.
That's right.
That's right. So if I were to just put this out of context like 2 months ago, you probably would have laughed at me. But when you saw the Marvel Hall H panel and they had spots for 10 properties, and they filled them all up, but then you realize, they were talking about Disney Plus and the big screen. Well, now these are Disney Plus, the big screen, and Hulu. So we're getting a new Avengers film. We're getting a Deadpool 3 released by Fox, so it could be rated R. So Feige's talking about he wants to release it under the Fox banner and keep the kind of same tone that the other Deadpools. You know, the old saying is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yep.
Black Panther number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy volume number 3, Fantastic Four, House of X, which is I put in a name there because that's what I've heard is going, and those are them, and Captain Marvel number 2. Those were already teased by Kevin Feige, except for New Avengers, but we know a 5th Avengers movie is coming. All these have been confirmed for Phase 5. And Kevin Feige said at the end of his Hall H panel, he said, hey, I forgot to tell you, by the way, we're doing Black Panther 2, we're doing Guardians of the Galaxy number 3, we're doing Fantastic Four, and we're doing Mutants and Captain Marvel 2. He just didn't have enough time. Well, now we know this is what they got planned for Phase 5. It seems daunting, but if you think of Phase 4, it spans about 2.5 years, 3 years on multiple platforms. So it is possible. So what we haven't discussed yet, and we talked about this in previous shows, is Power Pack is coming to Disney Plus. Young Avengers is coming because we already know Kate Bishop is coming. Now we're talking about Riri Williams. So we got a different other things. Of course, Spider-Man 3 will be a Sony release. That's technically still part of the MCU. Really haven't gotten any storylines on that. They're not doing a Sinister Six yet. The only thing that we know is they want to bring in a lawyer to defend Peter Parker against J. Jonah Jameson. And we're hearing that they want to bring in She-Hulk because they would have brought in Matt Murdock, but the timing of it, they still won't have the rights to. Remember, it takes 2 years after the Netflix series ends for Marvel to be able to do anything with that property. So expect those Netflix characters to eventually pop up in Hulu, but not until 2 years after. So they still have some time to film, then they can bring those characters in. So, and then Nova, what we just talked about, because, you know, they're going galactic. Remember that. Remember, there's no more Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's now Agents of Sword. So we got Nova that could be on the big screen. I think being that it's Richard Rider and the older version, I would think it would be on the big screen. Kind of fits the whole galactic mode. Young Avengers is exciting because that could bring in a whole bunch of characters. So we're getting a New Avengers is going to be basically the team of Captain Marvel, Black Panther, all the characters that are left after the blip. So basically, it's what Feige was telling me is they've always referred to it as the blip. It's never been called the snap. We, the fans, called it the snap. Just hold on.
All right, we have breaking news coming across.
Hold the presses.
All right.
Finding out that the story they want to use for Spider-Man 3, and I think we talked about it, is Kraven.
Right.
Yeah, so I totally forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me, Black Knight. So Kraven is going to be hunting in New York City. And it's going to be in Spider-Man 3. So remember, that's Amazing Spider-Man number 15. That's the story they want to use. And here's why, you know, because all the Spider-Man villains that they've used in the past, and when Sony had them, you know, they want to distance themselves from it, right? That's why you're not seeing Norman Osborn quite yet. You're not seeing the Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus. I mean, the Vulture, brand new villain, right? The Shocker, brand new villain. If you think about Mysterio, brand new villain. They hadn't done it yet. So Marvel likes to do things that haven't been done by their predecessors, right? So, you know, besides Fantastic Four with Galactus and Silver Surfer, because they're like the biggest ones, but Spider-Man has such a rich rogues gallery of villains that you could really pull from anything, right? I mean, you know, I don't expect them to do Electro in a while since it was butchered by Sony and that, you know, but Kraven would be awesome. Kraven's Last Hunt is a great storyline. It absolutely batshit crazy. So we'll have Kraven, we'll have J. Jonah Jameson, we'll have She-Hulk, and this is the last film that they're doing. Remember, She-Hulk, I don't know if She-Hulk's going to be in green hulked out form or in human form, but she's definitely going to be an attorney. They're trying to get her in that so that way they can get at least a named character in it. So Kraven's Last Hunt, Otto, what are the issues? There are 6 issues that span
there's 6 issues,
titles, right?
Yeah, there's span different. It's Web of Spider-Man, Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. It crosses over all 6 of them. Very iconic. I don't know the issues offhand. Actually, I'm going, when I go to Terrificon this weekend or in 2 weeks, I'm going to have them all signed. I'm going to keep them raw just for my own copies. They're just fantastic reads. I read them as a kid. I'm going to read them again. And it's just absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, a year ago, they did a panel with Marvel, the Terrificon did a panel, and they talked about Kraven's Last Hunt. I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but my buddy Dave from the Greeno, shout out to him for all our silk screening needs. He saw it, and he said it was absolutely fantastic. So I'll get some information from him and get a little background story for Kraven's Last Hunt.
That's right, Jesse. When we talked about it, we talked about Craven would be an African American, and he would be from Africa. Makes sense, right? Big game hunter. You know, you'd be from Africa. It'd have all that, and maybe tie him into Wakanda somehow. So you know that I think that's a great thing. If you put that graphic back up, here, put that graphic back up for Phase 5. Get them all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know how long I've been talking about Young Avengers, man. Young Avengers #1 is a first appearance of like 4 or 5 different characters, man.
Right.
We talked about Power Pack. You have no excuse. Fantastic Four, X-Men. Sorry, probably missed the boat on that one. But start picking up ancillary characters, second appearances, villains. Nova #1 you should be getting. That ASM 15 is pretty high price though for the Craven, but relatively low price, you know. But you can guarantee you once they announce Craven's going to be in it, it'll spike just like Mysterio. But be careful.
And I think Craven is going to translate well to the big screen. And I said this last time we talked about it, right? Craven is definitely a translatable character as far as powers, his abilities, what he can do, how he's a tracker, all those different things they can do. They can do that with not a lot of CGI, you know. So just to give him his background story and to talk about that, I think he'll translate very, very well to the big screen. And again, you know, that cover, that's a purple cover. So to find that book in high grade with a lot of dings, shout out to Darkseid Jedi who just picked one up. You know, that's a tough book to find in a high grade or even raw. So
you know what I didn't talk about, which, you know, for you people like collecting kind of rarities, on the Sandman #1, there's an actual purple cover. Yeah. I don't know if I sent you. I don't know if I sent you the graphic for it, but basically, if you guys Google it, Sandman #1 purple, and the CGC label says purple variant cover. And what happened is it was just part of the printing process that, you know, they were working on. So the regular cover is blue, and every now and then you got a purple cover. So if you guys are out that like to, you know, recalled comics or defect, or, you know, comics like, you know, that black covers that are supposed to be, you know, a different color, and they're not that far off price. But, you know, this is the thing that, you know, collectors who have everything, like Trudan on Instagram, they go out and they'll buy stuff that, you know, and say, you know, I already got this one. Let me go out and find a purple one, you know, or like the pink carpet Harbinger, right? You got the regular blue cover. Right. Go out and find it. That's why recalledcomics.com is a great resource for kind of rare recalled comics of weird one-offs here and there. You know, they're pretty good. What about Korvac for Guardians of 3 FF or Nova? I don't think Korvac's coming for a while because that's such a deep, in-depth story. The Avengers animated series did a great Korvac story. God, I missed that. Before this version of the Avengers animated series, there was another one, and that one was absolutely fantastic. And actually had the Korvac saga where, you know, he becomes all powerful and all cosmic. But what I found most probably is going to happen next, like a couple years, maybe 3-4 years down, the culmination of phases 4, 5, and 6, kind of like the end of phase 1, 2, and 3, where the Infinity Saga, right? The culmination of phases 4, 5, and 6 will probably be Annihilation Wave. Everything will be introduced, and then things will be set in place. Because once you have Nova, once you have the cosmic characters, you have the FF, you have Galactus, you have Silver Surfer established already, and then you bring in the Annihilation Wave and Annihilus. I think Annihilation Wave will eventually be the kind of big team up thing they do. They don't want to do one of these for a while. Because if you think about it, I mean, they're probably exhausted 10 years, and it took them 3 phases to complete the Thanos storyline. Right. But Galactus, Annihilus will be prominent in the end of this next phase of films, whatever they call it. Like, you know, it took them, you know, the end of the phases to finally said, oh, this is called the Infinity Saga, by the way. Thank you. Right. You know, thanks. Yeah, you know, so the next one, who knows? It could be called the Infinity Wave. But I was talking to Black Knight about this, and he's like, the long-term plans eventually is, you know, when they put out the roadmap, the end of the roadmap was like, let's end this with Annihilation Wave, because that's the end of the universe, right? That's the Annihilation Wave destroys everything. It's not just destroys Earth. So there's so many times you can destroy Earth before fans will just get, damage control can do so much, right? Shout out to damage control. They can't fix the universe. They can only fix Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? So there's so much you can do. And look at that, 6:59. We finished right on the nick of time. Let me give a quick shout out to everybody who joined us in the live chat and see if there's any questions. Marty for Comic Book Fanatics, Dickie Taylor, Johnny Boy, Lon Espinoza. It's a new faces in here. It's good. I don't know if they just find out. Tyler Lewis, Carter Lee sticking around. Audi Rousel. I'm late to the news. Terminated. Oh yeah, sorry. So yeah, the Lords of the Long Box YouTube channel got what did they say? It said I got
suspended.
Well, it said suspended, but then it said I was
terminated.
Terminated. Yeah. So
Terminated.
yeah. So I don't have access to my channel or anything on it. So I think I appealed to it because they said I was spamming. And I don't spam. I rarely comment on videos. I don't get involved with fighting people on YouTube. That was a long time ago, but
you've grown up. You've matured since then.
Yeah. So my channel got terminated, but I sent an appeal because, I never got a warning. They just said, because normally if you get strikes, right? If you do something wrong, you get a strike and they warn you. If you get it again, then your channel is going to get suspended or ended or terminated. I never even got a warning. So I don't have any strikes on my channel. So even when I put stuff up like the Avengers Endgame deleted scene, I got a copyright ding for it. And they, they'll send you an email. I'm sure a lot of you guys have done any videos that have music or something. They say, oh, don't worry, you didn't do anything wrong.
Right. We're just letting you know we're watching.
We just got, you just got a copyright ding because it belongs to somebody else. I was like, okay, that's fine. And then today I got this. What's interesting is I got a spam email from a Russian email address 3 hours before the actual legitimate YouTube email. And this email address is saying, basically it said it's from YouTube support. Dear Lords of Longbox, we've been reported that your channel is spamming a lot. Please put in your channel name, your username, and your password. And I was like, what? And I looked at it and it said .ru. So that's a Russian website. They didn't even hide the website, the email address that well. 3 hours later, I got the official email from YouTube. And I'll read you what it says right here. Hold on one second.
Right. And in the background, Justin and I were like looking it up and we're like, damn, it's gone. Like all the content is gone. Like we just got blipped. He just got blipped.
People, I'm like, check the Lord's channel. I was like, can you get on any videos? I was like, maybe it's just me, it's asking me to unsubscribe to it and resubscribe. And I was just like, I don't even want to touch this.
I got blipped.
He got blipped on the fuck out of it.
So I did some research and on Reddit, there was a thread that started like 4 days ago that there have been some mass terminations. So here's the email I got. So we'd like to inform you that due to repeated or severe violations of our community guidelines, your YouTube channel, Lords of Longbox, has been suspended. After review, we determined the activity on your account violated our community guidelines, which prohibit spam, scams, or commercially deceptive content. So when I looked at that, I looked at the video. If you were to say, oh, in this video, and then you lead to something else just to sell something and you link to it. And I don't do that. The only thing is that Stan Lee video I posted, but typically if you post that, they'll just tell you, hey, they'll either mute the channel, they'll mute that video, or they'll remove the video, but they won't remove your entire channel. It did get 620,000 views. So maybe, that did it, but typically even that, they'll be like, hey, this is copyrighted. If you monetize it, all the money will go to Marvel. And I'm fine with that. So It's a shame we were getting close to 5,000 subs. We were going to do a giveaway for you guys, but I don't know what's going to happen. So I did appeal. We'll find out. It could take up to 90 days or it could take a week or so. But in the meantime, in between time, I'll either be on the 3 Men in the Basement channel here, or I'll be on this weird account I just created here called TiVo. So we'll see how it goes, man. But what sucks is I don't have access to my own content that I put up. So we'll see what happens, man. But it was kind of curious. Go on to Reddit and you'll see there's a thread about it, and so what happens is it's not people doing these things, right? There's not a YouTube team of people watching millions of videos, right? It's algorithms that their software set up to look for certain things, and sometimes these algorithms get wonky, and it's happened to other people too, because there's just weird things that happen here. I'll see if I can put it in the live chat so you guys can read it yourself. It's happened to quite a few people. Matter of fact, a channel I was just following, I don't know if you guys ever follow, called Comic Book Crusaders. They had like 12,000 subscribers. They got banned off YouTube as well. And they were pissed off because they said we didn't do anything, and then finding out, just search for mass termination of YouTube channels. And there's a thread that started on Reddit about 4 days ago. So it looks like it's an algorithm that's kind of going around right now. And most of the channels get put back, once they realize it. But, YouTube does this. they never admit their mistake, because a lot of times also they'll make a change in their back end, and the people who use like OBS or Wirecast or whatever, their programs get messed up because of the video or audio sync problems because YouTube made the changes on the back end. But like OBS, Wirecast, any of these, they're not beholden. YouTube is not beholden to them, right? YouTube makes the changes to their developers. The developers make their changes. They don't give a shit about Wirecast OBS because Wirecast OBS aren't paying them. Just like if they were to make a major change, we're using StreamYard. StreamYard would have to adapt to them. All right.
Yeah. It'd have to see. It's pretty interesting, but you know what? We adapted. We made it happen. I hope you guys enjoy this. So it's been a good time.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for coming out. All I ask is if you're over here, make sure you sub up the channel,
I think
man.
Tim froze.
Did I?
No, I think he's going good right now.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
There you go.
All right. There you go.
All
okay.
right. So make sure you guys sub up the channel, man, if you're in here. And hold on. I just tried to log in and it says your account has been permanently disabled. So what does that even mean?
Oh, geez.
So permanently disabled. Why not just say, hold on, let me sign out and let me have to sign back in on this other account. Go ahead and say your sign outs while I can try to get
we'll figure that out. So,
right, so you go ahead.
Go ahead, Justin.
Oh, yeah. So, of course, 3 Men in a Basement. Want to throw this up here because, of course, this upcoming Friday, we are doing our first live auction. So everybody who's in the channel now, please be here Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We are going to be having both Otto and myself going to be throwing out a lot of good books. If you saw his video and my video, plus some other stuff, of course, we don't want to give you everything in the videos. So I'm just happy to have the live auction right here on 3 Men in a Basement. So Otto, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So we've been planning this for a while. It's been a big thing. 3 Men in a Basement has slowly been growing. We're very happy for all the things that we do and for all our interactions with everybody. We've got Terrificon coming up. We're going to be doing 2 live shows from Terrificon. We're going to be doing one Friday night and Saturday night from the hotel. That's been a lot of fun. And anybody who's there, if you see me in a 3 Men in a Basement t-shirt, please come up, comment, talk to me. I'd love to meet new people. That's what this whole thing is about. Barry Gary's going to have a booth. We've got lots of the crew going to be there. The Butch is going to be there. 4 Comics is going to be there. We've got tons and tons of people that are coming. Roger Levesque, my boy, Nemesis Prime is going to come up. Bernie 1869, and we're going to be hosting a happy hour by the pool on Saturday. So we're going to be having a great time. And it's just going to be, it's a really good con, and it's a very unique con because you're in a casino and you can actually leave the casino and go have, a quick lunch at a decent restaurant, go have a beer at a bar. You can go play a little blackjack, maybe win a little money. It's a very different animal for cons. So please be aware of that. And then join us this Friday, comment, share, do all that stuff to get the word out there because we do have some good books, and please check out our preview videos. So it's been a great show tonight. We're happy that we made this happen for you because this is a lot of content, and we do between Darkseid Jedi, TiVo, especially TiVo, myself and Justin, we put a lot of time into this. So thank you very much for all the support you guys always give us.
Yeah, man, maybe I'll be on the live auction this Friday.
Yeah, why not? Let's move some stuff.
Look at that on my chair there. Those are unopened boxes of comics. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can, definitely.
Look at that shit, man. This black chair back here. I haven't got anything. James, I got your package from the auction. So maybe I'll go on the Lord Friday auction if we'll see. And I'll be follow me on Instagram and the Facebook Lords group, and I'll keep you updated on anything that happens. But if not, then I'll be back on the 3 Men channel next Wednesday. So you guys still get your Black Knight report and your spec books and all that good stuff and news that come because, I'm not going away, just gonna relocate. So it's kind of like I got kicked out of the house and I'm staying on Otto's couch for a while until I can get my own.
Many people have done that, my friend. Many people have done that.
Yeah, so I'm crashing on crashing in the grotto, as they say. And I want to thank everybody for following us over there. We had about 50 people watching. The show started with 566 subs. We're up to 574 subs. It'd be nice to get to 600 subs by tomorrow, guys. So come on and sub up 3 Men in the Basement. Lords of Long Box is going to be rocking on this channel and until they get terminated, and then we'll go somewhere else.
Until we get the disease, right? There we go. So then, hey, you're guilty by association, and I'm good with that, my friend.
All right. Thanks, guys, for having me on. Thank you, everybody in live chat. And as always, boys and girls, keep digging in them long boxes. Peace out.